makeup of the new Senate is historic. For the first time, women make up the majority in the DFL caucus, and also for the first time, black women have been elected to the Senate. Senator Zaynab Mohamed checks both of those boxes and more. She joins me now in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Shannon.
You are also the youngest woman ever elected at age 25 to the Senate. You are also the first Somali woman in the Senate and the first member of Generation Z to be elected to the entire legislature. Do you view yourself as a trailblazer?
I think so. I mean, a lot of people feel really connected to myself and my experience. And before I ran, I didn't think it was ever going to be as big as it had become. And I've had so many people across the world reach out about how the fact that I represent them, that they feel connected to me, and I embody everything that they are. And so I think there's a level of trailblazing in the work that we're doing here.
As a member of Generation Z, just briefly, are there some big differences in how you view the world and elected office that may be different from older generations?
Absolutely. I think we're a lot more bold. I think we want to get things done quicker. I think we want to get things done in ways that are innovative and kind of with the times. And we're tired of things being done the same way that they always were.
Senate Majority Leader Carrie Dietzich mentioned you specifically when it came to the door-knocking efforts of this last campaign season, and you won your election by a wide margin. What did you hear from constituents on the campaign trail?
That they want us to get work done. Everywhere we went in our district, and even across other parts of the state, people want us to show up, to do the work, to hear them. And we often met them at mosques and churches and picket lines. We didn't just door knock, we met them everywhere they were at, and we asked them, what is important to you? What do you need from a senator? What do you need from our state? And it was about take care of our families, do what's right, and please show up and do your job.
You describe on your campaign website some of the struggles that your family encountered as immigrants to Minnesota. I can only imagine how difficult it must be to leave your culture and your continent and try to start over in a new place. What is your perspective on the American dream? And is the idea that people can start over and make a new life someplace else, does that still ring true?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born in Somalia with my family in the midst of the war, 97. And when we immigrated here, I didn't speak English. I was 9 years old. And so I was a fourth grader trying to learn how to speak English. And then at the same time, trying to help my family navigate how to read paperwork on health insurance, on how to involve us in schools. I would take them to conferences. I was the translator about my grades. And so I think the American dream is that anybody can come here, can start over, and can do, can make something of their lives. And I think I embody that in some ways.
Well, and you also wrote on your campaign website the challenge of trying to navigate, though, as not English speakers, state government. What could be done differently to help people?
Yeah. You know, when I thought about running last year, people often ask me, but why? And it was often about the political questions, the huge issues that we were facing. But for me, it was about navigating the systems that our government creates. It was so hard for my family to get health insurance. My mother has never had health insurance. I haven't had health insurance until I started working at the city of Minneapolis. It was about education system that is working for all of us. It was about creating a public safety system that is working for all of us. And often it is hard for American people to navigate those systems. Imagine being an immigrant and having to fill out booklets of paperwork. It is hard to do that.
Much has been written already about the historic diversity of people elected in this cycle. At her swearing-in ceremony, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan spoke of the lived experience that will now be at the table. And we're already talking about it a little bit, but what are some other aspects of your lived experience that you are going to bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Black woman. I think almost everybody knows that at this point, and often Black women face higher disparities in our healthcare system, in our education system, and we've never had a Black woman sitting in our chamber and talking about the issues that we do face, issues that my mother faces, and being like, this is what our experiences and our policies should reflect it, and we have an opportunity to be able to do that.
A recent headline in the Star Tribune business section read, quote, Minnesota heads into 2023 with low employment, workforce challenge, end quote. You are the vice chair now of the Jobs and Economic Development Committee, which is chaired by President Bobby Joe Champion, which I'm certain will be tasked with addressing some of those challenges. What are your thoughts on how the state can tackle issues of economic growth, in particular because we are looking at a smaller workforce?
We are. I mean, we have a low unemployment rate, but we also have some parts in our state where people still need employment, and it's hard for them to find jobs that reflect the work that they want to do and their experiences. So creating more jobs is really important to me. $15 minimum wage across the state is really important to me. My mother still makes $13 an hour and has been started at $7 an hour when we immigrated here, and it's really important to me to be able to take care of those folks. And then there are other parts in our state like the Iron Range where we have unemployment, where we have people who don't have an employment. They need unemployment to reopen up, and we're going to be tackling some of those issues with Senator Huschild as well.
You're not wasting any time. As a freshman senator, you've already issued a press release that you plan to lead the effort to pass a bill that would make driver's licenses available to all, regardless of immigration status. Now, some history on this is that it was legal until 2003, then it changed. And I know that Senator Bobby Joe Champion did carry this legislation a half dozen years ago. It passed the Senate, not the House. Right. Why is this important to you, and why are you leading this charge?
Number of reasons. I mean, I've heard about this issue in the campaign trail a number of times. I'm an immigrant, so on a personal level, I relate to the issue. But also as a senator, I think it's important that we do take care of our immigrant communities. It's not about driver's license. It's about restoring a right that people had. We had this right prior to 2003, and it is important to give it back to the people. It's an economic issue. Immigrants want to get involved in our economy, and we have an opportunity to be able to give that to them if we just pass driver's license for all. It's a public safety issue, and of course it's a labor issue, so I want to make sure that we get it done and we lead on this effort. We have an opportunity to get it done this year. You mentioned Senator Champion carried this, and him and I are going to be carrying it together this session as well, and I'm really excited to have his mentorship in getting it done.
Now, one of the critics of this bill, though, or I should say some of the critics, not just one, they're concerned, though, about the impact that people who are non-citizens with driver's licenses could have on elections, because there is a push to show ID, and if there were to show ID and then you have ID and yet you're not a citizen, how do you counter that particular criticism?
I mean, we had it in 2003, and that wasn't a criticism before, right? And so we've never had this issue when we had this policy in place. It's not going to be anything different. We're just restoring what we already had.
Senator Zaynab Mohamed, welcome to the Senate, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.